Good afternoon again. It's Lavinia from the M Word. Apologies for running late. Today is our last session of Unearthing, and I'm joined by Samara and Yasmin. Yasmin with shorter hair, for those of you who haven't noticed.
And different colour.
And different colour. It looks good. So we started Unearthing, I think it was round about, thinking about it, it was directly after half term in October last year. And we've come a long way since then. Such a long way. It's been really quite an interesting journey. And when I first set it up with the lovely Sue, what we had in mind was very much about going away, asking a question, and then Sue would look up loads of information from research journals to find the answers, but also just doing Googling of what was out there in the grand scheme of things across the world. And would then feed us with lots of interesting information, just giving us a bit more up-to-date knowledge and understanding about many, many issues. Now, sadly, Sue departed us because she was struggling with her child and wanted to spend a bit more time being surrounded by people. And of course, we do a lot of things by Zoom. And most of the team, so with only 4 of us at that point, most of the team were in Anglesey, how very inconsiderate of us. Needless to say, having had the taste of having a team member added to the fold, it was quite clear that we could do with actually having extra support. And so the M Word became sort of like not only just internal with family members, but also external with outside people coming in with new ideas, new information, new understanding. And that was really quite powerful because by that time, Yasmin was getting a taste for herself for joining us on Unearthing, which took a very different slant. How did you feel at the beginning? Because I know you were a little bit nervous.
I actually find it very interesting. Because obviously I was like, for weeks, how do I ask? Can I be invited on? I want to do it. And then you came up with the idea and I was like, I'm going to let her think it's organically all your idea. And then Dad went, she's not going to do that. She's too shy. And I was like, I've been wanting to do it for months. I wanted to join. So, I was kind of like, oh, finally.
So what you gave us is something that Sue and I haven't been able to do. It's very much the younger perception of what's it like. You were so much closer to having left school than we ever were. And sometimes parents feel quite frustrated because yes, they're talking to professionals and yes, they're talking to parents who've gone through very difficult scenarios similar to them, but there's nothing quite like having a younger voice, experience or perspective. And I think that's something that's been really helpful with you coming on board, Yasmin, because you have very much learned that. But we also, in acquiring our team, took on Samara. Now, Samara is a lot younger than me. She's a little bit older than you, and she is a parent. But she actually came to join us, not 100% sure if she was autistic. In her words, she felt a bit of an imposter, didn't you? Thinking, yeah, really, am I? But yeah, really. And you've got the experience of being a parent who is still currently in school. So you've added another level for us, which is extremely powerful, isn't it? Having now, the older version, the middle version, the younger version. It's really quite interesting. And then with your child, you've got the youngest one currently in the school process.
Yeah.
So it finally feels we've got a really good understanding, 360 degrees, of what is it really like being on the autistic spectrum with ADHD and PDA. But it's also taking up an awful lot of my time. And because we've now got the 2 companies, emotional problem solving and the M Word, we kind of have to think about where we're going forward. And I don't believe that Unearthing should be forever, because it was something that Sue designed. She came up with the name for Unearthing, and she liked the idea that we were unpacking a question, we were going away and getting information to support whether it was a yes or a no or a maybe. And this understanding is lovely, but imagine it like, you know, a small series of programs. And Yasmin, I think you said we've done 30 of these now?
This will be our number
30 now. Okay, so we're feeling pretty confident, aren't we, that we can shut Unearthing down and start thinking about new information, because between the two of you, you've got some really interesting ideas. Is there anything that you would like to say about Unearthing that you feel should be noted or you felt was useful?
to myself personally, or just useful in other extents. For example, I'm really thankful that Unearthing has given me a platform which has allowed me to be invited to go and talk to another load of people who want to listen to my voice. I wouldn't have had that opportunity if I hadn't done Unearthing in the first place. And it's great that I'm kind of being recognized as being able to talk for the younger people who might necessarily not have a voice in certain, situations or certain groups of people. So that's
Yeah, nicely put. So what Yasmin's referring to there is we've been invited to give a 40-minute lecture or discussion about autism, but also the different perspective lens from different age groups, as a parent, but also as an adult child. So it's been really quite an interesting one to go for, and that's going to be the end of September, October, something like that. So yes, and that was extended from the autism exhibition show in Manchester, where they're holding a podcast. So that'll be quite interesting. What about you then, Samara? Because obviously you're the newcomer in, as it were, in Unearthing. So what's your perspective of Unearthing? What's it brought for you?
I think kind of like what Yasmin said, I've definitely enjoyed being able to kind of share my own experience and learn a little bit more through like discussion.
Yeah.
And it's just nice knowing that I guess in a way we are helping people to understand themselves a little bit better and get more information.
So do you think there's lots of information you've learned from Unearthing, for you or for family members?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've put out quite a bit of information that is quite important and really relevant to like what we know now about autism and ADHD and PDA.
Yeah. What about you, Yasmin?
It's going to sound really bad, but probably not really, because the type of discussion we have on Unearthing is our kind of daily chat in the kitchen anyway. So it's not much different to me. It's a conversation we have a lot, whether it's Unearthing Day or not. So, I don't really think I take anything away so much. It's more what I give.
Nice. Okay. So with regards to the new academic year then, we've got literally on the brink of it now. For some schools, they've already reopened and gone back. So I'm talking about Scotland at the moment is, they're already second week back into it. And that seems a very tight turnaround when they've had their exam results. But obviously we've had exam results come out last week for England. And they are now aware of whether they're, going to have to work a trillion times harder to get better results, or whether they're going to university or going to college or, doing an apprenticeship. But there are so many more young people who are also have said goodbye to primary school and are now considering going on to secondary school or grammar school. And that probably is quite intimidating and overwhelming. But also there are lots of young people who feel completely unable to go back to school and are either waiting for an EOTAS package or they're waiting for a specialist school to start the transition. So is there any sort of pearls of wisdom from either of you that you could encourage others to think about? Because it is a very stressful time for a lot of people, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, for me, college wasn't the right environment for me at the time when I was the age that everybody goes. I'm hoping to go back now. You know, and I think it's very easy to get stuck in the position of I have to go and do this right now because everybody else is doing it right now. And I was still kind of kicking myself, going, I've really kind of screwed myself over academically by leaving. But then I've also got to look on the other side of it of I know I wouldn't have survived it if I'd forced myself to stay there. And, you know, it might not be what everybody else was planning for me to do, but in the long run, it was better for me. You know, we're not always ready for it straight away when everyone else is saying we should be ready for it. And that's not a pressure you should put on yourself. You know, you're ready for it when you're ready for it, and you kind of know when you're getting to that point of, okay, I'm ready to go into that environment.
Yeah, I was also thinking as well, for a lot of people, you assume that you try it once and then you say that's it. And actually, we had several goes, didn't we, trying it in different ways as to how we might be able to get you there. Lots of discussion with a variety of people, and still it just still broke down. And you kind of you know you have to try, but you also know that there is a point where you have to say, after that point, that's it. We're not going to try anymore. We're just going to take a break. You know, and if you go back to it in a year's time or 3 years' time, so be it. If you never go back to it, so be it. It's just, this is not right for you right now. There's something quite powerful about that, isn't there?
Yeah, I think that talk there to parents, but sometimes it's very, no child of mine is going to drop out. And it's almost like as soon as you say you're dropping out, it's like there's really negative connotation with it. I left, I didn't drop out. I didn't, you know, think, well, you know, screw it, I'm not going to do anything with the rest of my life. I didn't leave it like that. I just emotionally and, you know, mentally could not be in that environment dealing with those people every day. It wasn't good for me. And therefore it was affecting my home life. You know, luckily you were very understanding. I mean, I remember at the start I wouldn't tell you that I'd emailed college saying I'm not going in. You know, I wouldn't tell you because I thought so much I was going to get told off, and I was, you know, and then we kind of talked about it more, and you went with me to meetings with the college. And I remember us going home after a meeting, and you said, if you don't want to go back, like, say now, because I won't make you go back. If you really don't want to be there, I'm not going to do that. And I remember you saying, I'd rather have my child than have a piece of paper saying you've passed a course. And I was like, oh, okay. So, you know, that helped me at the time.
What about you, Samara? What do you think?
I think kind of similar to what Yasmin was saying. Like if I'd have known like what I know now, I wouldn't have forced myself from high school going straight into college, not really knowing what I wanted to do. I think there's a lot of pressure for kids, even younger than that. You know, when they first start high school, there's a lot of pressure to know what you want to do and what you want to be in life. And it's just too much pressure. Like, of course, you don't know at that age. You don't know enough of the world at that age because, let's face it, like, school isn't a real world experience, really. So I think the best thing to do if you're unsure is to wait once you leave school and really realize, like decide what you want to actually do and experience life a little bit.
I think there was a lot to be said for gap years, wasn't there, between sixth form and going to university? Just go and live a little bit, go and have a break from all this relentless going to school, studying, you know, and you come back kind of feeling far more informed, far more experienced, and just have a way of the world about you. Whereas it doesn't seem such a common occurrence these days. It does feel like you've just got to keep going, and you know, there is no let up of this, you know, keep going. But you went back to university later as well, didn't you? You went back later, and how did you find it then? Did it seem more bearable, more manageable?
I think so, because I kind of knew then what I wanted. I knew what I wanted to learn, and it was exciting. You know, being out of education for a few years, it was actually exciting going back into that environment rather than it feeling, you know, hard and like just like something that I had to do.
Yeah, yeah. I know for me, I can absolutely resonate with Yasmin, that feeling you've been screwed over, you've kind of missed out. I felt that for a very, very, very long time. And I didn't go straight to university. And when I did go to university, I was really quite shocked and appalled about how young and immature some people were compared to me as a mature student. But one of the things that I did notice myself was that whereas I'd really struggled with being quite disciplined and motivated to do work outside of school or college, was that I was really hungry. I wanted to know more. I wanted to be efficient as I could be. And I also had the anxiety around, I really didn't want to fail exams, and I knew there was a really, really, really high risk that I might fail exams. So I knew that if I wanted to be successful in my aspirations, it would mean that I would need to be very motivated, very diligent, and really apply myself. And just having that time out as an adult in the adult world kind of made me have a much better secure footing in applying myself. I don't know if either of you kind of feel like that now.
I mean, the thought of going back was a bit nervous. I'm like, because I've now got other things to be worrying about. I'm more like, am I too old to be here? You know,
No way.
Worrying about things like that, and I'm like, oh god, this is really not good. But then I've got to think back to it. I sent my application in and it was accepted in less than 24 hours, which is practically unheard of. So they want me there. I want to be there because I know that I need it to go for the career I want to go for. It's just the little anxieties of like, everyone's going to be, you're too tall to be here, because everybody always says that to me. You're too tall, you're too tall. It's like, I want to put myself back in that environment. Like, if I walk into Tesco's, it's fine, because I'm never going to see those people again. But if it's a classroom where you see people regularly, I'm like, it's all the little things that niggle at you, and you're like, oh god, it's so overwhelming when they all kind of build up.
Do you remember what you felt, Samara, on your first day? I mean, I know you said you were excited, but do you remember
I think, well, I would have been very, very anxious. It was quite a while ago now, so it's a bit hard. But I think the only difficulty with, I mean, I was out of education for quite a while before going back in, so you kind of forget a lot of the basics and almost forget how to even listen. And at that point, I didn't know that I had ADHD, so I got some help from the you know the like disability department in the university, but I couldn't even listen in lectures or anything like that. I didn't really know what was wrong. So I think, again, if I went back again, it would be an entirely different experience all over again.
Yeah, for sure. for me, I would say for sure, just like,
Yeah.
I think as well, when I went back, the first time when I went to university, I was a bit nervous because I'd applied for mental health nursing because I couldn't stand the idea of dealing with blood and guts, but I knew I wanted to help people. And when I went for my first interview, it was actually at Chichester, and they had sent the invitation that morning, and I'd done a night shift. So I heard the postman, and I was like, oh, do you know what? I so need my sleep. And then something niggled me, and I thought, I need to get up, and saw it was an application, read it, and couldn't believe I was supposed to have been literally arriving as I was opening the letter. I should have been arriving for my interview. And at that time, I was in Gosport. So I rang up, and they said, the thing is, the next round of interviews won't be for another month. And there is only one place left for September. And then there are so many places for the following March. So if you don't come today and all the places go, effectively, you're going to be looking at next year, September. And I was just like, fine. And I remember this woman had the gall to say to me, and don't forget to bring all your certificates as evidence. So I not only had to go without sleep and go and find these wretched documents, but I also then discovered that I didn't actually have a car accessible to me. So I then had to go and find a car to borrow, because of course it would have taken too long to get there by bus, and it would have been far too expensive to get there by taxi. And as I arrived in the room, the secretary who'd spoken to me said, oh, do you happen to have your documents? And I said, yes, I do. And the course director who was talking to everybody realized then at that point that I'd had no sleep, because he had been informed that I was going to be late. And I said, no, I'm here. So I'd made it in very quick time. And the only place they had offered that September was offered to me.
Wow.
You know, so it is interesting how things do happen in the way that they do when you're literally on your feet, kind of screaming for sleep, and actually you go back. So having been offered a place, I was then kind of going, oh no, they think that I can really do this, and I don't know that I really can. And I remember that feeling didn't leave for a very long time, even though I didn't actually end up going to Chichester, which I bitterly regret to this day. But that feeling hungry of, I really, really want to do this. I really want to do well. And I'll just go with the flow and see what I find. So I'm quite hopeful that Yasmin's going to go through this lovely experience for herself, kind of going, okay, well, I've got an open mind with this course. I kind of know where I'd like to end up, but I don't really know what to expect. I just know that if I go there with a bit of an open mind, I might learn things that are really interesting and, you know, will somehow help me find my feet where I want to go. In the same way that it happened to you, you know, by the time you came to us, you were like, hang on a minute, it's not all about medication. I want to understand more.
Yeah.
You know? So, okay, so if we're finishing with Unearthing then, what have you lovely ladies cooked up to start? Because we know it won't be starting next week because Samara's on leave. It's very inefficient of her. She decided to go the first week back of term. She's off on leave. But anyway.
Don't say that. I'll do it from Italy. And she went, I'll just zoom in. And I said, no, you're on holiday. Because apparently everybody at our company is broken and wants to work off and on their birthdays. And I'm the first one out of there.
Okay, so are you actually starting it next week from holiday, or are you actually waiting till you get back?
Wait until I get back.
I wouldn't let her. You're on holiday.
So tell us all then, what's it going to be about? Who wants to start? I mean, do we have a name for the program? How long is it going to be? What's it going to be, the content? What are you so excited about that you feel that, you know, I need to be literally thrown out and, you know, traded for you two? What's it all about?
We didn't throw you out.
No, John, the business manager, was like, no, you have to go. Off you go.
Yeah. Samara, do you want to explain it, or do I have? Oh, I guess
I'll let you start.
Okay.
Chickens.
The name is still a work in progress, I personally think, but there you go. So it's going to be kind of like a media half an hour where we break down how autistic people or, you know, mental illnesses are represented in media and TV shows. There's also going to be a small section where we look at Reddit posts that talk about behavior and whether somebody was in the right or wrong, to see if we can break down, because so many of these stories, people will say, I'm autistic and I don't understand if I behaved wrong, you know, and it's very easy for non-autistic people to go, obviously you acted in the wrong, you were the idiot in this situation. And it's like, but if we don't know, how can we explain it in a nicer way of, okay, maybe that behavior wasn't quite appropriate for that situation, but this is why it wasn't appropriate, and this is how you could challenge it in the future, because it's so easy for outside people to make out that you've just been a really stupid person. You're clearly the wrong person in this situation, and it's not always that obvious of, oh, I'm clearly wrong.
Yeah. Oh, this sounds really exciting. So tell me more then. Come on, Samara. She's going really quiet now. Like, yes, Yasmin, you tell us all. Come on then. What's Samara's take on this?
I don't really think there's a lot more to add to what Yasmin has said, other than, you know, it might be a way to kind of help people with a little bit of a guide towards like communication and you know, real life situations, and maybe how they could act differently the next time. And yeah, I think it should help people quite a bit.
And of course, you're both autistic, so I'm hopeful that this will be, you know, if there is a difference of opinions, you can look at either or as two different examples, can't you? Exciting. Okay, so for half an hour, or how long is it?
Half an hour, because we got told we're not allowed to go over half an hour, so it'll be half an hour. I'll keep to the watch, don't worry.
Okay, and where can people see this?
So it will be shared in the community group, but it will be going up on both YouTube channels. So if you're already subscribed to the M Word, you'll get a notification for it. And if you'd like to check out the Emotional Problem Solving YouTube channel, which currently has nothing on there, but there will be content soon, don't worry, you can go and do that as well.
Okay, this sounds really good. Okay, so we'll be looking out for adverts then, will we? Okay, so I'm really excited about that. And you said that the name is a bit of a work in progress.
Well, what did you come up with last weekend during the meeting? It was like the Aspies.
Well, I knew that you wouldn't like that, so you'd immediately come back to me with a retort.
Yeah,
it worked a treat.
I nominated Weekly A because we cover autism, ADHD, and anxiety, but I think it's a work in progress. So.
Got you. So for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be seeing an advert, and it's going to be run by Samara and Yasmin. And is this a weekly event?
Yeah.
Okay, got you. All right. And then it will be uploaded to YouTube?
Uploaded onto YouTube. It'll be on the community group if you want to watch it live. You know, because we'll be doing it live, Reddit videos that we talk about, people are more than welcome to give their 2 cents in of opinion, so that we quite an open concept.
Yeah, that'd be good. So it feels like that's one major change. I suppose we should really talk about things that are also going to be changing, because we now have a team that supports us really well. And Samara, do you want to talk a bit about what you're also going to be doing? Because you sound like you're going to be very busy.
Yeah. So when I'm back from annual leave, I'll be starting to do webinars. So these will be looking at autism, ADHD, pathological demand avoidance, autism and mental health, and there's a couple of others in there as well. So these will be running on a Tuesday and a Thursday.
Okay.
So you can buy these on the website, is that right? On the
Yeah.
EPF website. So they're going to be, very informative and teaching people hopefully a lot of stuff that maybe they don't know already or haven't really thought about before.
So they can go to the website on EPS, but I suppose we'll be advertising on both the M Word as well as EPS, won't we?
Yeah.
And we put this together, didn't we, Samara? Because we felt that there was a real need to get some training out there that wasn't using deficit language, didn't we? We were quite keen on that.
Yeah.
Because autism, unfortunately, does have a stigma, as some of us may be very aware. And we wanted to be able to feel that we could use lots of information from our unearthing programs, but also add to an awful lot of information that we've gleaned over the time by accruing new members to our team, but also the volume of information that we've gleaned from our clients over the many, many months that we have been operating as the M Word. Our clients have been extremely influential in thinking about how we design these training webinars, because for a lot of trainers, they're not dealing with lots and lots of families over the UK. And unlike the M Word, who does deal with families up and down the UK, we learn an awful lot more. And the other thing that an awful lot of agencies don't do is they don't do a one-stop shop. And the M Word certainly does that. So again, we've gleaned even more information, which we have Anna, who's our researcher, who has been extremely helpful to Samara in providing lots of extra bits of research data, not only from the M Word, but also from researching other articles that she can get as a researcher. So this is all added to your work slides as well, hasn't it, when you're thinking about designing the webinars? It seems quite daunting, I know, at this end, but I also know that once we get into a pattern, it will feel really quite exciting. And it's new, it's the new academic year. So we've got, a new program to look forward to. We've also got new training webinars that will be extremely exciting to kind of offer people. And we also have, alongside the training webinars that Samara will be running, I will be doing the so-called masterclass until I can find a better word for it, but I don't know what else to suggest. But this masterclass is very much for those who feel that they have not only been able to achieve beginner level around autism and ADHD, but they've managed to go through intermediate levels with Samara, that they want a little bit more now to kind of do their full learning around autism and ADHD and PDA. So that's really quite exciting, because I know that there will be lots of different opportunities for people to kind of look through. Is there anything else that we're doing new that we should talk about?
This is a Christmas card.
Lovely. Yasmin, do you want to tell us a bit more about that? Because you're pioneering that one, aren't you?
Am I?
Yes.
It
What
wasn't
did you have? It wasn't your idea. This is very true. We should give that credit to Michelle, our admin manager. But it's good teamwork. What's going with the Christmas card competition then?
there's a Christmas card competition with 3 different age ranges. I'm not
Okay.
sure.
Yep.
You fill in the form and send it back with your design, and whoever wins will get theirs printed on a Christmas card, which will be available at some point when I get round to it.
Okay, so who's going to decide the winning designs? How does that work?
So I think the original idea is each member of the team will nominate one design, and then we'll have a tally of. I'm not sure. You'd have to ask Michelle. She is running this. I'm just told when and where to appear and make adverts.
So my understanding of it was, like you said, there were 3 age ranges, were there not?
Yeah, I think.
And we could each, as a team, so there's 6 of us in the team, we could choose our favourites, and then that would go forward to be uploaded to our community group, who would then to the final vote. That's my understanding.
No more than me.
Yeah, okay. So
Really?
that'll be good. But the thing is, there's a quite tight turnaround, isn't there? Because we need people putting forward their artwork, shall we say, and anybody can enter. It's free to enter, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's free to enter. If you would like the form, it's www.emotionalproblemsolving.ltd/welcome. There you go.
Fab. Thank you. That'd be really good. So yes, if you've got any budding artists in your families, please consider that they are very welcome to enter this competition. And there'll be 3 different designs of Christmas cards. So it's really exciting. We've tried to widen it so that everybody, be it a parent, adult client, or indeed a young person, can join in. And maybe it'll be your Christmas card that is promoting the M word, which is really, really exciting. So I'm quite excited about that. Anything else that's kind of really new that's coming onto the scene for the new academic year?
I feel like you keep looking at me, and I'm just not on the same wavelength. So I don't think so from my hand, other than the coffee and cake afternoon that we're doing in Bangor.
Yeah.
Obviously, not all of our community are nearby, so you can have a look at pictures of cakes I've made, but I can't. I'm not sending them to anywhere in the country.
Okay, so Samara, do you want to give a bit more information about that?
Yes, so on the 21st of September, I think it is, which is a Wednesday, we'll be holding a fundraiser in the Abbey Road Centre in Bangor, North Wales, just in case, because I know some people get Ireland with that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 2 hours, and it's an opportunity for people to learn about what we do and how we can help, as well as raising money for families who can't access our services. And there'll also be a fundraiser, which will be fun, and cakes and coffee.
Nice. What was that, Yasmin? Sorry.
12 to 2.
12 to 2.
So that's our 2 hours that we're there for.
Yeah, nice. Okay. And we don't know what day your program's going to be on, do we, until you've got your timetable?
Yeah, so at the moment, we're thinking it might be Wednesdays, but I will get back to you with dates if I'm not here on Wednesday.
So I'm just thinking that if we start your program the week Samara gets back, and then the following week we're doing coffee and cake, we might need to think of a different...
It depends if I'm available on Wednesdays. Otherwise, I won't be at the bake sale because I'll be off learning, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I suppose the other thing we should really consider as well is every September at the start of the new academic year, we have an annual meeting with the non-executive directors, and this is a really, really big meeting. We try not to overwhelm them with too much information, but part of the information we supply them with is what's happened over the past year and then we look to what can we do better and what can we improve on, but also what new ideas do we need to be thinking about. Now, I can't emphasize enough, this is a really important meeting, not just because it's the non-executive directors, but because the entire community are very much encouraged to have a viewpoint. And we always, always, always like to hear opinions. So you've got a little bit of time now just to think about over the next 3 weeks. If there's anything you would like fed back, you can make it anonymous, you can identify yourself. It doesn't really matter, but if you do have any information that you'd like to be relayed back to the Neds, we'd love to have your feedback on things. And this could be anything ranging from the expert parent program to the Unearthing, to therapy, to assessments, initial screenings, you name it, even our Facebook community group. But it's just a really powerful opportunity for you to have your say and to contribute as a very committed community member. We'd just be really grateful for that. So is there anything else we need to think about?
I can't think of anything.
I was just thinking about TikTok and Instagram, because Yasmin, you do a large part of that, but it's got so big that we're thinking that we now have to think about 2 different types of TikTok accounts, and maybe people don't know that.
Yeah, so if you were already following the TikTok account, you will have noticed that it has changed from the N-word CIC to the N-word community. That is essentially like this community group just on TikTok, so you can send in videos if you want to upload, like if you've got any interesting hobbies, whatever. And then we have the N-word CIC, which is more professional looking, I think. It's the more boring side, where it's not so community orientated. It's more what services we provide. But if you'd like to give either of those a follow, that's okay.
Okay, so in theory, what you're saying is that part of our community members could, in fact, send in their own little TikTok videos for us to upload.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know that. That's a really cool idea. That's
why we decided to change it, because obviously I'm focusing on the more professional side of what services we provide. Michelle is now doing the community group. So if you have anything that you think people would be interested, even if it's just, a video of you hanging out with your cat, I don't know, you can send it on over. She will deal with them. It's a lot like our Facebook community group. Send something in if you want to share it, and we'll get it uploaded. Nice. Okay. Well, that's pretty impressive, isn't it? We've talked intermittently about fundraising, and I know it's been a really difficult year or years, and it's probably going to be just as hard over the next academic year, because of course they're talking about hiking up oil prices, fuel prices, energy prices. It's really quite miserable, really, isn't it? And although it's probably quite low key, because poor Samara's very, very busy doing a lot of things, and she's only got so many hours in a day. If anybody does have any fundraising ideas, or if anybody wants to do any marathons for us, or, climbing, or, swimming, or just anything, if you have any ideas, we'd really, really, really like to hear about them, because it's amazing how just a little bit of money can make the difference between a family coming into our services and getting the help they need, to actually waiting and really struggling, and then obviously deteriorating. So any ideas of how we can fundraise, would be amazing. And obviously, if you're in the Bangor area on the 21st, do come and enjoy some cake and coffee. You made some lovely cakes last time, Yasmin. Are you doing any baking for us this time? Yeah. Probably things. And I'm thinking trying a new recipe, blackberry crumble muffin. if
Oh,
anyone.
really? Okay, front row. I'm getting.
when I'm in the kitchen. Yeah.
I must admit, I did really enjoy
Oh, the brown.
your brownies with raspberry. That was really nice. I also touched very briefly on Anna, our researcher, who is offering huge amounts of help to Samara and I with data for the webinars. But actually, Anna is very busy herself. We are hoping to have 2 further publications coming out at the end of August. So for you to buy, which again was just a way of helping us get some money and helping other families who are really, really struggling, but also just building a different awareness around autism and ADHD and PDA. And the reason for this is because I feel very strongly that there are lots of agencies out there who believe that they are doing amazing work and that they are collecting data, but there is nobody quite like us doing this one-stop shop. And part of the one-stop shop is very much about providing evidence to support why we're doing what we do. And we know that what we offer is extremely effective, but we also know that a lot of parents feel quite broken by what they've had to go through. So there's a need to support parents continue being amazing parents. And when you think how much you're having to strenuously advocate for your child, it is exhausting. But knowing that you're getting it right gives you that little boost of energy, as well as much more confidence to assert your beliefs and what you know. So just by having Anna as our researcher showing that as evidence is really helpful. And I know that parents obviously aren't thinking, well, because Anna's done all this research to show that we're right and doing what we do. But equally, if you want to feel more confident, what I'm trying to get you to think about is the fact that Samara does training, Yasmin does lots of social media, but also designs all our publications for everything, just everything. And Anna's so busy beavering away, writing lots of work so that I can then go and do my clinical inputs. So it's a very good all-rounded experience, giving us all greater confidence that what we're doing seems to be going in the right direction. And ultimately, our aim is to ensure that our children are not going to be left stranded with a life sentence of mental ill health. If we can stop it as soon as we can by getting in there quickly to offer a mental health assessment with an initial screening and then get them the help they need, that will stop the level of deterioration around mental ill health. And that's our ultimate goal, to try and help that. And sometimes when we think about, how difficult it is, sometimes it's just really helpful to know that there are people around us who do understand it, who do get it. And it's really good to have the M word and emotional problem solving, being surrounded by team members who are all on the autistic spectrum and get it in a variety of different ways. Their knowledge is just as empowering to help us push forward with something we know about and something we can talk about, as well as teach and help understand, greater understanding. Is there anything else we need to say?
Yes, on that note, reports with Anna, 5 copies of the Worry Report left of the edition, so if you would like to get your hands on them, just email me at info@emotionalproblemsolving.ltd.
Nice. So 5 copies left. We've done really well with that, haven't we? So that was our very first. Yeah, that was our very first fundraising publication, which was really exciting. Our young person was really keen to be involved. And when somebody is being funded by this, there is a criteria of sorts. So when we screen using the RCADs, learning about different anxieties, the presentation must be panic disorder, which is a rarity. So to give you an example, out of 300 clients we had over an 18-month period, only 30 of them presented with panic disorder in their RCAD presentation. So it's a really interesting piece of work. But yes, so 5 left, is there? Righto, that's really good.
Yeah. It's going back to have more time for free reading. So if that's something that tickles your fancy, email me before they're gone, because otherwise you'll have to wait until the next load gets printed.
Cool. Okay, so we've got something really to look forward to, haven't we? We've got quite a bit of gossip really for starting in the new academic year, which is lovely. So just a quick recap then. So we've got Unearthing. Today is our very last day with Unearthing. However, don't worry, we have a new show coming, running with Samara and Yasmin, starting the following week. So Samara's on leave next week, but when she gets back, it'll be starting. So watch the space. There'll be adverts out confirming the day and time and the title. And it will be like Unearthing uploaded to YouTube. We've got Samara doing lots of webinar training sessions over a variety of subjects, which again is really exciting. So that's really good. And that's starting the week beginning the 11th, 12th of September, sorry. So it's a case of choosing your course and then just signing up for it. And then following that, we've got a coffee morning coming, a fundraiser coffee morning. And then I believe it's that same evening, we've got the non-executive directors meeting, which is the annual meeting of the year. And then, have I missed anything out? It's the Christmas card competition, and there must be a closing date round about that time. So it's 3 age ranges, isn't it?
Yeah, it's for all September. If you are posting your design to us, you have 3 days from the closing date to make sure it gets to us.
Right.
I know it's fact, just so that everyone, if anything arrives after that, unfortunately, it will not be entered. But yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I'm going to say goodbye because it's sad, I know, but you know what? Sometimes it's sad to say goodbye, but it's also exciting to welcome in new ideas and new things that are starting. So we have to think positively on that one. My sincere thanks to both of you, because obviously now you're going to be going it alone. Ha ha. And thank you also to all our members who have joined our programs of Unearthing. It's been really lovely having you join us. And I know some of you can't join us, so you then tend to think about seeing it on YouTube, which is also lovely. I've just got a message now saying the Christmas card closing date is 30th of September. There we go then. So yes, so thank you so much to everybody for all your hard work, but also for taking the time to join us. And as ever, we will be back, but doing something slightly different. And I can't wait to see your new program, ladies. Very exciting to see that. All right, take care, everybody. Have enjoyed the very last bit of summer holidays for those who are still on summer holidays. And let's see how we proceed with the new academic year. There's some lovely, exciting things happening for the M word and emotional problem solving. So we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.